critics would say, well, in Bridgeport, it's just like, Mario Testa just controls everything, the jobs, the contracts, the whatever.
Mike, as you know, this country was built on patronage and the political, politics. Now that's the same thing with the Catholic Church, same thing with the religion. I mean, same thing with it's everything is politics. And naturally, you have the same thing with the cities, towns, state, and the government. But let's say who we are taken care of. How about that poor person, for example, and this is what I'm totally against the way the system works under present administration. That a person to apply for a custodian position has got to take a test. But meanwhile, you have a poor person, maybe yes, he might have he had the past drug problems or some type of problems, prior to that, and he's looking for a job. He gets turned down in the private industry, private section. Meanwhile, he comes to you. If there's a position there and the person can do the job, why not help this poor person? Otherwise, you're forcing that poor person to go back to the prior problems, because nobody's willing to help. And I stand on my record. In the past 12 years, 14 years, I always help people that need help. And you don't control a position like Director of Public Works or Director of Health Department. That's the mayor's choice. So the only patronage position you have is on the lower class, which civil service has the authority right now. You can even recommend somebody a part-time job without going through civil service, and they go through the list.
So I take it you're not happy with Fabrizi's effort to get rid of this grants payroll?
No, definitely not. Because, you're not able to help the people that live in the city of Bridgeport, the local people. People, they got some serious problems, getting a job. By doing that, you cut down crimes, you cut down everything else. So I do disagree with it where you have to have a test for everything. Civil service probably was okay back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. But today's, you don't need civil service any longer, because there are no show job or anything like that like it happened 30, 40 years ago. Today, if we recommend somebody, you have a 6-month period, what they call a probation period. If you do not perform, then it's up to the supervisor to get rid of you. So if we recommend somebody to get a job, now they're going about town committee people being on the payroll. But let me ask you this. How many years have they been there? Naturally, probably they had a job there. You can't find people because they increased from 50 on the town committee to 90. And nobody wants to get involved anymore. Today's teenagers, they don't want to get involved politically, get the town committee and everything else. It's not like I explained to you before on the Mandanese. If you didn't have time in, you could not get on.
And I also remember, because I occasionally go to see Franny Fagan, who's up in the thing.
Franny, right.
One person never had more than one
thing. One thing,
You
right.
were either on a commission or you were
Right.
a legislator or you were.
Right.
but
We
not
never.
all-
We always spread it, because politically, what you're saying is, if we have you can only get, if you and your wife are a member of your family, you get the same amount of votes. So politically, we always spread it.
For many years, people would think that the FBI after a mayor or something, that you would be their prize target. They'd say,
Yeah,
like,
they-
you know, with the FBI, they're not leaving Bridgeport till they get Mario Testa.
Right. That's
How,
what
how,
the
how did that
rumors.
feel, and what?
Well, honestly, and does not, giving you that reputation. Why? Because of my last name ends with a vowel. I mean, what's the, really? Because even I'd say today, if there's something with the Ganem, I would have been right there with him. I mean, I had all these people, like the reputation. Tell me, what is, is there, anyone? I'll challenge anyone to come forward and says, I paid Mario Testa or I did something for Mario Testa.
So you were
Now-
never nervous about this? It was just, you shook your head and said, why are they doing this, or what?
Well, they never came to see me.
Never, no one ever came to talk to you?
No, siree. They came once and I guess that the agent just wanted to know what I looked like. I'm pretty sure they knew, but as somebody, they served me with a paper that when they had the Pinto's phone tap, so he made a couple phone calls to my place. So as you know, they had to serve you with the
Right, telling you that you were
telling
on a
you I was,
thing.
and the person, the agent, and this was the irony of it. They had the 40 Bridge Road, Monroe. That's what it was on the. But meanwhile, they served me on 920 Madison Avenue. It just goes to show you. And most of them, they got them in the mail. I had mine and delivered.
Right. You used to sweep the old Testos, right? I mean, did you found a couple of listening devices, or?
Well, there was something found there.
Presumably put in there by the.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't have no knowledge who, where, who, what.
Right. Pleasure is in short supply in the east end of Bridgeport, especially when a sweltering summer day settles like a steam towel over streets of leaning tenements. Water is all around here, though. Not that kids or adults can get at it, what with the concertina wire and the industry that block the shoreline. But most tantalizing is Pleasure Beach, 63 acres of sheer nature and peace just offshore. You can't get there from here because the old timber bridge is closed. Part of it burned on Father's Day in 1996. So this is the 12th summer of no access. Ruins of the old 30s era amusement park still stand above the vegetation that's reclaiming the peninsula. This may be the only place in Bridgeport where you can hear nothing but the wind. No horns honking, no sirens, only wind. And when it blows in a certain way through the tree leaves, it makes a sound like surf crashing. Very weird. Old pathways and roads lace the grounds. They go nowhere, and once again it's just the wind rustling in the rushes. Here at the restaurant that never opened, graffiti and pavement markings are glyphs that show there was human activity here once. Piping plovers aren't the only wildlife that's found refuge here. Ospreys screech and circle ominously if you get too close to their nest. Sometimes the wind carries the ghostly note of a stray trumpet, Cherokee maybe, from Woody Herman, lingering from their last gig at the Pleasure Beach Ballroom. Sometimes the wind carries the goofy tootling of the calliope and the squeal of kids. The carousel was here, and round they went on the colorful carved steeds with eyes fixed in a stare, nostrils flared. This is where they came to lean and grab for the brass ring. Pleasure Beach doesn't want to go back to what it was. Even if Bridgeport's a city that often seems to long for the past instead of a future. The big bands and the Dodgem cars have gone the way of the Royal typewriter. But the beach, the water, and the wind are eternal. In a city where pleasure is in short supply, Pleasure Beach should be for people, not just for the plovers.